So I saw that Sam Darnold's supposed to be like the favorite, I think, for comeback player of the year.
Oh
Are
Jesus.
we done with that award now? Should that be is it time to change that? Like should we have a comeback player of the year and like a most improved? I think you're muted, Zoo.
Yeah, yeah, he's muted. Yeah, because like my thing is like, what do you? I want to know what the criteria is for whomever selects these award winners, and what because like last year you had Damar Hamlin who came back from literal death,
Yeah.
and he didn't really do anything on the field that was really groundbreaking. But then you have Sam Bradford. Wow, Sam Darnold.
Jeez.
I'd be more concerned if Sam Bradford was still playing. But no, then you have Sam Darnold, who, for all intents and purposes, has been around. Nothing really detrimental happened to him aside from playing for inept, terrible franchises. So I guess most improved. I just don't know. Maybe you have both. I don't know.
I would be down for both. I would say like both, like a comeback player of the year. I think you should have something for somebody coming back from like an insane injury or death
Right.
in Damar Hamlin's case.
Or death.
Or and like I don't know if most improved. Most improved sounds a little not maybe condescending of sorts to like somebody like a grown man professional athlete, but like maybe like breakthrough athlete of the year or breakout athlete of the year, breakout player
I
of the
like,
year or something.
yeah.
Because like we've something that would make sense for Geno Smith or Sam Darnold seasons. Silent.
Am I muted? Yes, you are muted.
Let
Is it plugged in?
me see his mic settings. Yeah, his mic is working on here.
He just shoot us.
He says
You saw that? He just shoot us.
Did he shoot us?
He shoot us.
Oh my god, what is that?
He's flicking us off. What the hell did we do, man?
Oh, how did I haven't checked the score, Scott. How did Notre Dame Georgia go?
Georgia lost 23-10.
So are we feeling good about our Notre Dame Texas matchup?
Ooh. I'm just I'm just stalling at this point. I don't feel good about the Texas side simply because Ohio State was able to come out and completely just manhandle Oregon. Of course, we'll get into this more on College Shame Day on Saturday,
right,
where you can catch everything live. But to see how Texas performed against Arizona State or Ohio State performing against Oregon, it just seems like Ohio State's just head and shoulders above. But I am just waiting for the quintessential Ryan Day mishap to happen, which could end up happening in the Cotton Bowl when they play Texas. And I firmly believe that Quinn Ewers, quarterback for Texas, is not going to be declaring for the draft. I have a feeling he's going to be jumping into the portal. So this is more or less a kind of a prove it kind of scenario for Quinn Ewers, to kind of parlay into some sort of crazy NIL deal to transfer to some other Power 4 school, because Arch Manning is still sitting there in Texas and those boosters want him to play.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to try to force Quinn Ewers out. And right now, I think Quinn Ewers, the best thing for him is to get with his camp and his family and his whomever he trusts the most and figure out, okay, where am I going to go in the draft? Am I going to be a late third, fourth, fifth round quarterback? Probably. At this point, that's probably where he's going to end up. So does it make more financial sense for him to stay another year, get a bag for an NIL deal, and just play again and get some more game film? Probably. That's probably the best thing for him to do. So it really depends on how he performs at a high level, especially against Ohio State. And then it's the similar scenario on the other side. I mean, you have James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State, who tends to shit his pants in the big and when the lights are brightest. And Marcus Freeman, I think both of these coaches are coaching for their jobs at this point. So I think that game is going to be a very high scoring, just drawn out back and forth game in the Orange Bowl, Penn State, Notre Dame.
I hear thumps.
Oh, he's here.
He's here.
Okay. We're on to something.
Hooray.
Okay, so
love it.
Does breakout player of the year, is it like, hey, you weren't good enough when you were a rookie, but like like Caleb Williams is the first thing that comes to mind. Like, was barely even nominated for like Rookie of the Week throughout the season. So if he gets like a coaching staff that actually pushes him, and he actually looks like a first overall pick, like, is that what makes a breakout player of the year, or is it like, you know, like, or like when someone's going for their contract type of performance and then crashing afterwards, like, is that breakout player of the year type of performance?
I would consider breakout year performance to be like the person's career best season, like head and shoulders above. Like, you can't just throw like Pat Mahomes in there because he threw 40 touchdowns instead of 35 touchdowns. Like, that doesn't count. But like, it would be somebody who was just absolutely just irrelevant the season before and then just came onto the scene and just lit it up. That's what I would break out.
It would have to definitely have like some parameters on it, and I would say like definitely for most improved, even for like breakout, I would put the parameters of like it needs to be somebody that's at least 2 years into the league, right? Because like somebody going rookie to sophomore, they can obviously be improved or obviously break out from there in one of those two.
So everyone that's like on a rookie contract going for their second contract type of performances.
Look at
like how Daron Payne had like all those sacks for a D tackle and then just never got one after that.
Joe Flacco, when he was in his contract year with the Ravens and took him to a Super Bowl, like you put that award on top and it was like, hey, you got to add a couple milli onto my new deal. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. I can vibe with that.
Just closing the loop on what we were saying with the playoff right now, like Quinn Ewers going possibly into the portal would be interesting because you're right. I don't know what his draft stock would look like right now. I mean, it's the quarterback landscape in the draft coming up. Just as it's a little too early to tell right now. I think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward keep going back and forth as who's the number one quarterback in this draft. Jalen Milroe just declared today from Alabama.
Carson Beck's going in. Dylan Gabriel's going in. I think Jackson Dart's going in. So I think Curtis Rourke from Indiana, he's going in.
Yeah.
But like a lot of those guys outside of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are easily late 3s and 4s. You know, like that's kind of where you're playing.
Well, yeah, I saw somebody in the comments called Jalen Milroe just a shorter, dumber Anthony Richardson. Which that felt like it could have been you on this Reddit post. I have no idea, Scott.
It's my burner account.
How is this class? What is it stacking up? You know, just as like a quick preview, like how does it stack up to the past quarterback classes? Like last year, you know, we had Caleb Williams was a definitive number one going into it. Jaden Daniels really broke out.
Jokes on them.
Hard, I know, yeah. And before that, who do we have? We had CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Yeah, how is this class stacking up?
It's kind of lackluster, and I think the NIL scenarios, and now these players are able to get more eligibility if they have JUCO years with them on their resume now, which is crazy to me. We'll talk about that probably a little bit more in depth. But outside of Shedeur and Cam, nobody, and even those two I'm not totally sold on. I mean, Shedeur is on the namesake, and then Cam Ward's probably the person who's grinded the most to get to where he's at. I'd be more excited to see where he lands. But as far as the draft goes, it's going to be defensive heavy draft, huge defensive draft. Even the running back market's kind of light outside of like Ashton Genty and then Cam Scatabo, who played last night at Arizona State. But that's another guy who's going to be like a late 4th, 5th round pick. Like it's going to be one of those drafts where it's just a crapshoot. And I'm going to say it now, Travis Hunter is going to be one of the biggest busts to ever happen.
In New England?
Anywhere.
If he goes to New England, I fully believe it.